Sorry, I had to mute Twitch. I forgot to mute Twitch, as you do. What's going on, guys? So I feel like having some fun today, so I'm gonna watch some videos, because why the hell not? I was gonna be watching them anyway, and I'd rather be laughing with other people than just laughing by myself. So that's what we're doing today. You may be first, but I'm best looking. Well, we got you there. I don't know what to say about that. So today we're going to be watching some very influential and very important presidential debates. Now, these are very important, as I stated before. And we should definitely learn from these debates and hear what these some of our greatest and most influential presidents have to say about stuff and things. Like, what's the best Resident Evil game? Because that's absolutely important. 100% important. And we need to talk about it. So let me know how the volume is, guys.
All right, I'm here. Are we ready to do this?
Not yet. Joe hasn't joined us.
How's that? Is that too loud? Is that louder than me? I can't tell. That's good? Okay. All right, let's do this.
No point. It's only 11 in the morning. His sleepy ass isn't even awake yet. Well, shit.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Jill was making me a sandwich. What's up?
Gentlemen, we're going to rank the Resident Evil games.
Whoa, there's a lot of them. I'm not sure I have the time.
Are we pushing into your nap time there, Sleepy Joe?
No, I have a country to run, you idiot. Plus, it's not noon yet.
Guys, it'll be fine. We'll just do the core ones for now. Any of them with a number should suffice.
Any
Okay,
numbered.
good.
Okay, we're doing
I'm
only
okay with
numbered
that for the
Resident
sake of
Evils.
time, but you better include Code Veronica.
That goes without saying.
Code V was my shit back in my PS2 days.
Obviously, now let's get...
Okay, hold up. Code V is the only Resident Evil that I played legitimately and could not beat. It's the only one. I didn't play every Resident Evil. I played 0, I played 3, I played 4, 5, 6. Unfortunately, I didn't beat 6 because who the fuck wants to do that? I played 5. I played Resident Evil 7. I played 8. The original remake of 1. I played 2 remake. I played pretty much every one except for the original. I've never played the original PSX Resident Evil. Never played that. Veronica is strong. Dude, Code Veronica was hard. That was the only game that I played. Like I actually sat down. I'm like, I'm gonna beat this game, and I never could beat it. Never could beat it. I'm sorry, but Resident Evil 6 is trash. It is. Look, if it ain't D or below, then I'm shutting this video off. Cutting this video off. All right, let's see.
Get started.
Hold on a second. We're starting in order of release date, right?
Can you remember that far back?
Fuck you, Donald.
Yes, we'll start with the OG 1996 Resident Evil, a masterpiece.
A tier. The Godfather of survival horror. Easy.
I agree, A.
Now hold on.
What?
Uh-oh.
With
Oh,
the original? Why?
Take your nostalgia glasses off for a second, you two. The dialogue was straight trash, even earning it a spot in the Guinness Book for worst video game dialogue back in 2002.
Hold up, Trump's got a point. Look, and this is one of the big issues too with a lot of games now, especially when people are talking about old games, is they put on their nostalgia glasses and they can't criticize it. They're just like, oh, it was so great, and then you go back and play it, and you know fucking damn well that it was garbage. But, you know, you're just like, but I remember it so fondly. And I'm like, yes, because that was when you didn't have bills and responsibilities and life was great and everything was amazing. But now if you go back and play Resident Evil, like if I went back and played this game right now, I'm sure I would be like, holy fuck, I can't do this. I can't. I just can't do this. I won't do this.
Which it still holds to this day.
It wasn't that bad.
Of course you'd think that. Is the writer the same one who jots down all your speeches?
Eat my presidential ass, Donald.
The dialogue did
Eat my presidential ass, Donald.
kill
Oh
the
my
immersion, I'll
God.
admit. but the gameplay was still atmospheric and spooky.
The gameplay was an Ohio train wreck. Clunky controls and tight corridors is like moving a fridge through a hallway.
Fine, for the sake of time, we'll split the difference and put it down to B tier and move on.
B for bullshit. I don't like it.
Still too high.
B for bullshit. No, look, I'll go B. I'll go B because you have to factor in that it kind of ushered in the era of this genre of games. So you have to give it that at least. We'll give it a B. I wouldn't go back and play the original Resident Evil. An Ohio train. Exactly. I was dying.
Next up is 1998's Resident Evil 2.
Here we go. A tier for sure.
No.
Pretty sure we can all agree on that.
I would even say S tier. It was really a well-rounded sequel. Top.
For once, I agree with Sleepy Joe. It took all the good things from the first one, what little there was,
God damn you.
and improved it. Dialogue, gameplay, atmosphere.
It took all the good things from the first one, what little there was. Resident Evil 2 is by far the most memorable and nostalgic Resident Evil for me because it was the one that I first encountered. It scared the absolute shit out of me as a kid, but I still to this day absolutely adore Resident Evil 2. I'd probably, now that 2 remake exists, I probably wouldn't give it an S. But see, here's the thing. If Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 2 Remake were both going to be an S, it would be for completely different reasons. Resident Evil 2, the way that they had that game set up with the stories, the way that they kind of meld it together or whatever, that was like the pinnacle of that sort of gameplay where it's like whatever you do in disc 1 or whatever disc you decide to play first carries over to the next one and they integrate so you can leave items and stuff for the other person or whatever. That shit was iconic back then. Resident Evil 2 Remake did away with that, which infuriates me greatly. Like I'm still kind of butthurt about that. I don't know, man. You know what? Honestly, I think based off of that alone, I would probably give Resident Evil 2 S and 2 Remake A, just because I think overall, at the end of the day, I think that 2, the original, was a better experience. But I do think that obviously graphical fidelity and all that other stuff, 2 Remake has it. But I think the overall feel of the entire package was better for 2, in my opinion.
Even having the story split into 2 different parts with multiple endings.
I did get confused with which ending was canon, though.
It doesn't take much to
That's
confuse
true.
you, Joe.
Fuck off, Orange Slice.
Okay.
Fuck off, Orange Slice. It doesn't take much to confuse you, Joe.
Okay, then I'm moving it to S tier.
Cool.
Fine by me.
Moving on to 1999, Resident Evil Nemesis. What do you...
Oh, Nemi? I don't know, man. You know what? Nemi is it's a weird one because Nemesis was one of those Resident Evils that came out almost immediately after 2. People were still kind of reeling from how awesome 2 was, and 3 just kind of showed up. And it added a bunch of stuff like being able to dodge and choices you can make that kind of changed the outcome of the game. But I don't know, man. 3 just didn't resonate with me like 2 did. I wasn't really crazy about it. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. I don't know, man. It came out too quick, I think. I love Nemesis too. I don't know, man. I don't feel the same way about 3 that I feel about 2 for sure. And maybe I would have if I played 3 first. And then we'll get to 3 make soon. We'll get to 3 make because that's a whole nother can of worms, but
You guys think?
Again, a solid game. Only a year later, and Capcom releases a straight-up banger. They were on fire. An entire city to run around with zombies everywhere. Screams echoing in the distance. Revisiting the RPD.
oh, you know what? That's a really good point. Resident Evil 3 did a really good job at allowing you to actually explore Raccoon City, which was really good for me. That was one thing that I was especially impressed by when it came to that game, because you spent a lot of time in the RPD and in the underground lab and different places or whatever, but you never really got to go out into the city and spend a lot of time out there. So 3 was really good for that, for sure. 3 and Outbreak. Unfortunately, Outbreak is not on this list because it's not a main numbered Resident Evil, but it fucking should be. It should be. Resident Evil Outbreak was one of the best Resident Evils ever.
Chills.
Nemesis was a scary mofo too, popping up randomly unscripted, unlike Mr. X from RE2.
No cap. The big fucker carried a rocket launcher in the streets like it was nothing. The most American thing you can do, in my opinion.
All good points, gentlemen, but to be honest, I didn't like the choice system. And the dodge mechanic made the game's combat slightly easier, making it not as tense.
Jill
Oh, no,
Valentine
you know
is
what?
an
I don't know about that because the dodge was actually hard to fucking do. Like, unless you were just good at counter mechanics in games in the first place, I fucking often failed at getting that dodge right. And most of the time, you couldn't like dodge out of the way of a zombie in the first place. Like, if you were far enough, maybe, but to do the what is it, like the counter to push them off you without taking any damage, that shit wasn't easy, man. It was more of a risk for me than reward.
elite cop with a certain
But I
set
suck,
of skills.
so.
Of course, she'd be able to dodge whenever she wanted.
I'll agree that the path choosing was a little stale.
Fine, A tier then.
Yeah, A.
Good, now to 2001's Code Veronica.
Fuck yes, Claire, back in action in her own game. I spent hours on this gem.
And we're finally out of Raccoon City.
Rockford Island was a good setting with half of it in a prison.
I don't know. I didn't like Rockford Island, honestly. I did like the twins. I like the villains and the enemies in that game, but I wasn't crazy about Rockford Island as a setting. Also, Resident Evil Code Veronica has Steve, and Steve is cancer, so that automatically puts it at B max. B maximum for Code Veronica. Also, I'm a little biased because I couldn't beat it, so fuck that game.
And the other half in Gothic architecture, all on an island to give you a feeling of isolation.
The PS2's graphics did wonders for the cinematics in this game. And seeing Wesker fight with his new powers, I creamed.
Fucking sick.
Gross.
Yeah,
Whatever,
that's
the man's an
disgusting.
icon.
Got his ass beat by a mutant woman, though.
True.
Fake news, you sleepy fuck. He did a tactical withdrawal. The man is a supreme strategist.
No, he got his ass whooped, Trump. Stop it. Stop it. You can't be running ops for Wesker. Of course Trump would be running ops for Wesker. Like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Look, I'll admit that it was a graphical improvement at the time, but did you forget about those shitty, stretchy arm fucks that would hit you off screen?
Ooh, you know what? The fucking, what were they called? The Bandersnatches? Yeah, those things fucking sucked. I forgot about those. Yeah, I fucking, which is a hilariously perfect name for them. Hold on, my phone just freaking, all right, let me put my phone over. Fucking Bandersnatches, dude. Those things sucked. That was probably the worst enemy in the game. Other than Veronica herself. She was fucking me up, dude. I was getting my ass kicked.
Oh, right, I forgot about those.
It also had one of the weirdest characters in the series.
It's 2023, Joe. You can't call Alfred Ashford weird anymore?
Not him. Steve Burnside.
Yeah, fuck Steve.
This edgy motherfucker was constantly a hindrance to Claire, giving her attitude in almost every scene. He had more emotional baggage than Donnie did after losing the Oval Office.
Fuck you, Joe. That shit was rigged, and Steve was crushed about his dad.
Oh, you mean this?
Oh no.
Father. Father. Father.
Oh my god. Every scene with Steve in it was terrible. It was just terrible. Father. My man fell to his knees, screaming father to the heavens with two Uzis.
Cringe.
Sorry, Donnie, but I gotta side with Joe on this.
Bullshit.
The graphics and gameplay were great, and the new location is a breath of fresh air. But with the cringiest character in the series, I'll put it into B tier.
Alongside
Okay, yeah, B. Fine.
that Roblox-looking motherfucker, you gotta be kidding me.
Deal with it, bitch. Take the L.
Moving on, we're back on to hitting some high tier ones here, starting with 2002's RE Remake.
This was lit.
Resident Evil Remake is probably one of the best remakes ever made. It is a masterclass in remade games. Like, if you ever want to look at an example on how to properly remake a game, Resident Evil Remake is by far, like, I can't think of very few issues or any issues really. Like that game, and it was way past its time graphically. Like, oh my god, that game was beautiful. They did an excellent job remaking. Are we getting Resident Evil 5 remake then? I don't know. That might be a little controversial because you know where that game takes place. And when Resident Evil 5 originally came out, there was a little bit of controversy because you know, which was stupid. It was ridiculous because I don't know, like the I don't know if they. Well, first off, if there's another remake coming out anytime soon, it's gonna be Code V. If they're gonna do another remake anytime soon, it's most likely gonna be Code Veronica because it has Claire in it, and they just remade Leon's next game, so it would make sense for them to logically remake Claire's next game. I don't know what the fuck they gonna do about Steve, but God, don't. I mean, it can only get better. I guess that's all I can say is Steve can only get better. Need me some more Sheva. You know what? 5 was pretty good. All things considered, it's definitely not my favorite Resident Evil, but 5 was pretty good. How they're gonna do the co-op though with the new RE engine, I'd be curious to see how that plays out. Because I feel like new Resident Evil games with the new RE engine would be really easy co-op. Like super fucking easy co-op. Yeah, we did. We played the shit out of Resident Evil 5. I had a good time too. That was back when we used to game all the fucking time. Technically I played a small part of the original. Um yeah, we played the shit out of 5. We didn't do 6 though, because Resident Evil 6.
Facts.
What?
Excuse me?
You shitted on the OG.
Stop crying, Baby Joe, and listen.
Fuck.
They took what was garbage about the original and made it better. Graphics, gameplay, and environment.
Oh,
They
I got
not only
another one.
redid the dialogue and improved it, but also added the Crimson Head zombie to avoid being a stale-ass piece of shit.
I don't know, man. I didn't like the Crimson Head at all. That was the worst part of the game for me. Anytime I encountered a Crimson Head, I stopped having fun. I'm not gonna lie. I loved everything about that game except for the Crimson Heads. As soon as they showed up, I'm like, I hate this fucking game. It pissed me off every time. Because they were just like super fucking steroid zombies with one-hit kills. It was stupid. I didn't like it. Some people, I know a lot of people liked it. They thought it was cool. I hated that shit. That was the one thing they could have left out. Hold on, I got an alert on my phone. Somebody bought something from the store, so I'm just checking it out real quick. Bam! All right, cool. Good. Making sales is fun or good. All right, so yeah, I hated the Crimson Heads. That was my point that I wanted to make there.
Shit.
Those things made me shit my pants.
No, that was your old age.
Shut the fuck up, Orange Man. Lock yourself in a tanning bed some more.
I have to agree with Don on this one, Joe. The graphics alone are enough to put it into S tier. Added with the new defensive weapons and Lisa Trevor mini-boss, this game did the OG respect.
Defensive weapons were cool. Lisa boss was pretty cool, even though it was kind of short. Giving more context on Lisa in general, too, was also pretty good. I think I would absolutely put Resident Evil Remake S tier, for sure. 100%.
George Trevor was a great architect. I could have used a man like him to build my wall.
So we agreed it's S tier?
Yes.
Of course.
Good, moving on to another golden one, Resident Evil 0.
Bear.
I don't know. Resident Evil 0 was gorgeous, too. That was a very pretty game, but controlling 2 characters at one time, that whole little mechanic, it was interesting, but the story of that game just didn't really grab me all that much, man. I couldn't really get into 0. Like the beginning of the game is great. like on the train and stuff with the fucking giant scorpion and that kind of really close quarters, tight kind of combat and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't know. Zero, I'd probably give it a B.
Barry, I agree that it has the same appeal as the remake, but you cannot convince me that it is anywhere near as good.
Trump, I'm with Trump.
All the bosses are just jacked up animals and a reused asset for Tyrant. Don't even get me started on that fucking opera singer and his leeches. Hot garbage.
It was still a good prequel to the OG.
Trash.
The Queen Leech didn't make any sense.
How the fuck does a scorpion the size of a flatbed truck jump on top of a train moving that fast? And how many times do we have to save Rebecca?
I mean, these are all valid questions. And not only did said scorpion get on top of said train, but he was inside of said train. Nobody had an explanation for that shit. And yes, the leech dude was stupid. They actually reintroduced the leech dude and or at least the leeches in Resident Evil Outbreak, and it was stupid there too. I hated the leech man because he was basically an invincible boss that just followed you around and just kind of irritated the shit out of you. Just like Mr. X and Resident Evil 2 remake, which, I mean, like I said, I didn't hate Mr. X, and the fact that he was a kind of, well, he wasn't really invincible though. Like, you could stop him, and you could stop the leech man too, but I just didn't find it scary. It was just kind of gross at the end of the day. I don't even remember most of the bosses in Zero. The only thing I remember, the only two bosses I remember in Zero are the Scorpion and a Centipede. That's it. I think every other boss was like a weird animal too, outside of just rehashed Mr. T's and Mr. X's. So, I don't know about Zero. B, max, probably a C.
Shut the fuck up, you rug-wearing bitch. I won't have you bad-mouthing Rebecca.
You rug-wearing bitch. No, you know what though? I won't have any Rebecca hate either, because Rebecca was probably one of my favorite characters in Resident Evil for a while, even though she was kind of damsel-y. She actually had to be saved in every game she appeared in. Every game Rebecca appeared in, she had to be saved. To be fair, though, to give Rebecca a little bit of credit, Rebecca was a medic. That was her thing. Everybody else were combatants. Rebecca is the only one that was specifically a medic. That was her job. So, I mean, I know she was still trained like everybody else, but I'll give her that benefit of the doubt.
She's top tier for me.
I don't think she's that bad of a character.
Isn't she a little too old for you, Sleepy Joe?
Oh, man.
Fuck off.
Rebecca Chambers is the most underrated character in the whole series.
I wouldn't say that. She is pretty great, though.
She's the first to come across and defeat a tyrant by herself.
That's true. That's true. I didn't even think of that. She is the first in a series to defeat a tyrant alone.
Research facility and mansion incident, all while being the youngest in the Elite Stars unit. She even helped save the world in the Vendetta movie.
Barry, we aren't talking about any of those shitty movies. Stick to the...
Oh, Trump, we got a box, homie. The CGI movies were great. All the real movies are ass. All the CGI movies were good. All right, me and Trump gonna fight. Don't shit on the CGI movies, man.
Games. Besides, Shinji Mikami admitted that he liked Chambers the least out of all his female characters. He never even wanted to add her to the game.
He did her dirty in the remake, not gonna lie. She's at least competent in Zero, but becomes a damsel in distress later on.
That's true.
Fuck the both of you and Mikami. Thank God they added her to DBD at least.
D tier at most.
That's a little harsh. The gameplay was still good, even with...
Yeah, D is definitely harsh. I wouldn't. D is bad. I would give it a C.
The secondary character running alongside you.
It goes in high B tier, and that's the lowest I'll put it. Fight me.
Obama ain't fucking around. Obama simping for B. He likes Rebecca.
Fine, whatever. Let's move on. We're barely halfway.
Next up is the GOAT, 2005's Resident Evil 4.
Truth, no lie.
Pump the brakes there, guys.
The fuck?
Joe, you gotta be kidding me. We're talking about Resident Evil fucking 4.
Is he awake? Did he take his meds?
Fuck you guys, I know what I'm saying. You both need to stop riding 4's bandwagon. This was a glorified escort quest with horror taking a back seat to action.
Fuck you.
But that don't mean it was bad though. It did shift meta. Like it changed up what Resident Evil was. And it wasn't necessarily for the better because we ended up getting 6 because of it. 6 was the culmination of Resident Evil 4's success, and that is a sin in my opinion. 5 was kind of an evolution. 6 was just gross. They I don't know. They tried to out 4 and they just couldn't do it. I think 4 was the sweet spot. I didn't really like the god damn it. The QTEs, quick time events, were kind of annoying, and that's when it really started. Which was in Resident Evil 4, the quick time events, and still not a fan to this day. In 5 or 6. They moved on to like just mashing buttons in Resident Evil 7 and 8 and stuff like that or whatever, which is fine. But the QTE, if you don't press this button in a millisecond, you die bullshit, I never was a fan. And they even added that shit to Resident Evil, what is it? The rail shooters. Dark Side Chronicles, and the other one was Umbrella Chronicles. Yeah. They added fucking QTEs to those games. And those were like first person rail shooters. Like, why the fuck do I have to do a quick time event in a rail shooter? I hated that shit. I hated it so much. What's up, Angry? We're talking, we're listening to 3 of our presidents talk about the best Resident Evil games. Because why the fuck not?
You, Joe. It revolutionized not only the series, but the entire video game.
I wouldn't say revolutionized. It changed the series, sure. Resident Evil 4 changed the game, and it is an amazing game on its own in a vacuum if you don't look at anything else. But I prefer the pre-era of Resident Evil if I had to choose. Like, if I was going to choose between all these games and 4, 5, and 6, because those, I think you can bundle all those together, because all the rest of these remakes and stuff, and Resident Evil 7 and 8, they're like the newest generation of stuff. But if I had to pick between the OGs and 4, 5, and 6, I would probably pick the OGs hands down. Faux show.
Game industry, the over-the-shoulder third-person gameplay rocked every company to the core, mixing it with action, suspense, and horror in a perfect blend. They even fixed the inventory system.
Even the creators of Dead Space said they redid their entire game to model it after the way RE4 was made.
They took out the zombies in a Resident Evil game and replaced them with parasites.
Look, man, Joe is dropping facts right now. He's dropping facts right now. 4, look, I'm not knocking 4. If there's any 4 stands in the chat, man, like, I love Resident Evil 4, but Joe got some points.
This is the game that popularized quick time events in the gaming industry.
See, that's not a good point, though. He's saying that as a plus. That is not a plus in my book. That is a net negative, in my opinion. You losing me, Joe. You losing me.
The story was trash. Sadler wants to inject Ashley with the parasite.
Oh, no, wait. No, I think he was saying that as a negative. Never mind. I'm still Team Joe. Sorry.
And let her go back to America, but then tries to stop them from leaving over and over again. Krauser's side story was shit, and need I mention the escorting again? Take Rebecca from the remake.
Fuck you, Joe.
And Steve from Code V.
Go sniff some more hair, you sleepy fuck.
And you get Ashley Graham. She was annoying as fuck and hard to...
I liked Ashley. She was irritating, but I did like Ashley. And on a rare occurrence, I actually like both versions of Ashley. The original and the remake both did her very well. Even though she was pretty irritating in the first game, like her voice was, but her character was fine. I liked her character in the original, and they did her justice in the remake. So I don't have a problem with Ashley.
to protect.
Skill issue. Get better, you old codger.
I agree, sounds like a you problem. The game is phenomenal from start to finish and is even ported more times than Skyrim. It goes
Oh, he ain't lying about that. I think I bought Resident Evil 4 probably 5 times. Total. Granted, one of them, was in VR. I think I got it for the Wii, the GameCube, PlayStation 2. I got it in VR, and then I think I ended up getting it for PS4.
into S.
Obviously.
I'll concede to A tier, or else I'm dropping out and playing Minecraft with Bill.
Fine, let baby have his bottle.
I don't like it, but whatever. We need to get this done, so up next is 2009's Resident Evil 5.
I don't think you need to say the year anymore, Barry. Some of us can remember back then.
Get yourself some better wigs and comebacks, Orange Man. Anyways, another co-op, but this time set in the daytime. And the shitty inventory system is back, but made even worse somehow.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, that the inventory system did get worse, I think, overall. We're talking about coming from 4.
This one kind of flopped with me.
Really, Barry? I thought with the location, well, you know,
What?
never mind.
Get your brain checked, Donnie. Seems like you're huffing some of that spray tan you keep blasting yourself with.
Shut up, Joe. At least I can walk up a simple flight of stairs.
I told you I was tired that day.
Anyways, I agree. This game was a huge letdown. It seemed that Capcom was trying to make lightning strike twice with this one and failed. They even reused the chainsaw mini-boss. The only saving grace was my boy Wesker coming in again. Him teleporting like Nightcrawler made me spew everywhere, though.
Fucking
Oh my God, Trump. Stop sharing this information, G. I don't know. Like, 5 was definitely inferior to 4, for sure, in my opinion. They ramped up the action a bit. The bosses were a lot less memorable. Like the arcade style gameplay, if I was to judge it on that, was definitely better overall. It was a lot more action packed. And a little more grandiose, because like I don't know, Resident Evil 4, that whole scenario was pretty isolated, I think, because it was like the only stakes was basically Ashley, and I know the dude wanted to take over the world and shit, but I mean, it just didn't seem that grand scale. It was like a covert, specific, singular mission, but Resident Evil 5 seemed more worldly, if that makes any sense. Seemed like there was more at stake, but it will always be remembered as the most yeah, because of the boulder punch. Yeah, that is a meme that will never go away, and it's still stupid to this day. It is still one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
stop saying shit like that, but I can't lie, his theme song and fight scenes were lit as fuck. Too bad it was bogged down by quick time events.
Yeah, thanks, RE4.
Shut up with that. Plus his master plan, literal chef's kiss.
You would like that, you fat fuck.
He lost to a rock-punching jarhead.
Yet again, fake news.
He left to a rock punching jar. He lost to a rock punching jarhead. You can't. Don't be disrespecting Chris like that.
He ducked at the last second and will return once again. You guys just didn't notice because you don't have great eyesight like I do. I have the best eyesight, probably in the world.
Okay then, any objections if I put it into C tier?
Nope.
Seems fair.
Okay, done. Now on to Resident Evil 6.
all that hooting and hollering, and it just went in C. That's fair. I think 5 deserves to be in C.
Ooh, this one.
Oh, right, I keep forgetting this one happened.
Not too surprised, Sleepy Joe. It's a miracle you know what year it is.
It's one where I'm still president, you grease stain.
Gentlemen, focus. I think we can be unanimous in this one, right?
Yes.
The horror aspect was completely thrown out the window for a more action-oriented game.
Although they did try to bring back some of the horror with Leon's story. Like they tried to do everything. They wanted to do the chasing where the enemy is constantly pursuing you with Jake's and Sherry? Yeah, Sherry's story. They tried to bring back a little bit of the horror with Leon's story, and then they tried to go balls to the wall action with Chris's story. And at the end of the day, everybody just got something mediocre. Like nobody, it was a, and you can't even say jack of all trades, master of none, because it was like everybody was just disappointed. Nobody got what they wanted. It was just nobody got what they wanted. It's just like everybody wanted to go to a specific restaurant. Somebody wanted to go to Red Lobster. Another person wanted to go to Texas Roadhouse. Another person wanted to go to some other fancy restaurant. And your mom said, fuck it, we're going to Golden Corral. or fucking Hometown Buffet. Where everything is mediocre or ass and that's it. You can just eat a bunch of it. Yep, that's Resident Evil 6, a shitty buffet. There you go.
I have to agree with you on that, Barry. As much as I love action and the Second Amendment, this was too much. Too many campaigns, an excess of quick-time events, and don't get me started on Jake. If they wanted to use a Wesker, why not just stick with the man himself? But that's fine, he'll be back.
Donnie, you're delusional.
Eat me, bitch.
Joe, you haven't said much.
Call Jill, see if he fell asleep at the keyboard again.
I'm awake, you idiot.
Well, what's your input, Joe?
On what?
Jesus Christ.
On RE6.
Oh, right. To be honest with you guys, I don't really remember that one. I never could get past the train part on Leon's campaign.
Jesus, Joe, are you serious? That's in the first hour of the game.
I told you that QTEs are garbage. Fuck off.
They are garbage. And that train part sucks. It sucks. Every time I try to conjure up a memory of Resident Evil 6, the only thing that comes to my mind is this game is fucking terrible. Like every moment I spent playing that game was a moment of just, why the fuck did I buy this? And then I remember the only reason I owned the game is because at the time they were having a bundle where you could get pretty much all the Resident Evil games on PC, and I bought it because it was just like, fuck it. This is around the time I started getting into PC gaming, and I'm just like, fuck it, I got it, I'll give it a try. I mean, everybody said it was terrible, but I'll figure it out myself. Oh, God. I never got past, I think I played maybe 2 hours of that game, if that.
That's sad.
Get better, Sleepy.
But whatever, it goes into D tier.
I'm okay with that.
Same.
All right,
No, we need an F tier.
guys, now for another gem, Resident Evil 7.
Now this one I remember.
Shocking.
I have to admit that the sudden shift into first person wasn't too bad of a switch for me. Plus, playing a normal person looking for his wife instead of being a cop or specialist of any kind was a nice change.
Did it remind you of all the times you had to look for your wife when you get lost wandering around in the White House, you geriatric bitch?
Oh my God. Fuck. Bro. Jesus Christ, dude. Also, 7 was great. I had a really good time with 7. Although, I played 90% of 7 in VR. When the demo came out, I played the demo a lot. And then I started to play the main game a little bit. And then when they released the VR patch, I think it was a patch, because I don't think it initially came with VR, I don't think. I played throughout the rest of the entire game in VR, and it was great. That was one of my first major AAA VR experiences, and I had the time of my fucking life. So I think 7 was probably, for a game that was supposed to kind of revitalize the series, I think 7 could probably go comfortably in A tier. I would be okay with that. I wouldn't be upset. Because I think B is definitely too low. And S is absolutely not. No. Because it definitely wasn't. Okay, so one realization that I came to after playing 7 was the fact that game had one enemy. Just one. If you do not include the bosses, that game had one enemy. And some people would argue, well, the other games only had zombies. They were different zombies, at least. They had like different models and shit. They had dogs and crows and fucking sharks and all that shit. They had one enemy in the whole game, and it was that fucking black goo. And that was it. And it took me like, I think it was like a year after I beat the game, and somebody was talking to me about it, and they brought that up, and I'm like, no, that's not. Wait, holy shit! I'm like, that game does only have one fucking enemy. Holy crap! If you don't include the bosses, which was the family, yeah, just one, and that's lazy as fuck. But whatever, I still enjoyed the game, so fuck it.
At least I'm still in it, fucknut.
Focus, guys. RE7 was the first game to use the iconic RE engine. It did a full 180, switching out the action for complete horror and suspense, which is the jolt that was needed to bring this series back to life.
True that.
Truly a banger.
Unlike someone's idea for a healthcare plan,
Fuck you, Donald.
I agree, going back to its roots.
I still wish that they'd keep zombies in the series. Not sure I like the mold, or whatever it is. It had a nice twist ending, though. And Jack Baker is seriously one of the most terrifying villains of the series.
Facts, definitely a solid A tier.
Agreed.
Yeah,
High A at the least.
Okay, good, high A. Let's move on to another great installment that I don't think
I
anyone
agree.
saw coming, the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Holy shit, here we go. A game that would have won Game of the Year if Sekiro didn't come out that same year.
Not gonna lie, this one was fun all around. Mixing the best parts of
It
4 and
was.
7, but keeping it mostly about the horror was nothing short of genius. And Mr. X stalking you in the RPD randomly brought out 99 Nemesis vibes.
Joe, you senile old man, did you forget 5 minutes ago? You don't get to shit all over 4 and then use its assets whenever you want, you waffling fuck.
I can say whatever I want, I'm the president. This is what 4 should have been. Emphasis on the horror and no QTEs. They brought back the zombies too, along with the added gore whenever you shoot them.
Seeing a zombie's face shredded to pieces was especially satisfying.
Hopefully it's what we'll get with the new remake coming out.
I think we can all agree it's an S tier product.
I can live with that.
Same here.
Good, almost done, guys. Let's talk about the Resident Evil.
Okay, I'm okay with both 2 and 2 remake being an S tier. I'm not upset about that because, like I said, they both excelled in what they were trying to do, and even though Resident Evil 2 was stripped of what truly made the original great, it was replaced with something that made the remake great in its own right. So I think that's fine. I can live with that.
Evil 3 remake.
Jesus Christ, way to fumble on the
Yeah, I can see how you got pissed off with the story because, like you said, and like I just said, the fact that their stories didn't converge and basically the A and B scenario were basically just like 2 nebulous things that existed in their own realm, it was frustrating. And the fact that Leon and Claire never really collabed or like just their involvement in the game and then the RPD had absolutely nothing to do with each other, it kind of sucked, honestly. It really sucked. But like I said, it was replaced with so many good things, like the dream scenarios that they came as the DLC, the what if scenarios, like what if Hunk survived, and got out. What if Kendo survived? They added some context to Kendo and gave him a bit of a story. He had a daughter or whatever that he was protecting. Like that stuff was cool as hell. Like there were so many good things. The death scenes and stuff were great in Resident Evil 2 remake. All the rewards and stuff that you got for beating the game. Like I had crazy fun playing that one. So like at the end of the day, the sacrifice that was made up for, in my opinion.
5-yard line, Capcom. You were so close to a perfect game, but you had to trip along the way. D tier, no question.
I'm with Donnie on this one. It didn't have the impact that the second remake did. Plus, it was way too short.
Now hold on, guys. It wasn't that bad. Let's give it a chance.
Nope. I'm not. I refuse. D tier, Resident Evil 3 was a lazy... it was almost... I got fucking whiplash playing Resident Evil 3 remake. And it kind of... It kind of reaffirmed my feeling for the original Resident Evil 3 too, because I always felt Resident Evil 3, the original, was mediocre in my opinion. And then when they made the remake, I'm like, apparently Capcom does too, because Resident Evil 3 remake was basically a glorified DLC that they sold for full price, and they stripped it of almost everything that made 3. If there was anything substantial in 3 to be had, they stripped 3 remake of it all. And it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for Resident Evil 2 remake to come out and then be graced or cursed with this bullshit. I was offended. I was actually offended. It was the first Resident Evil game that I ever was like, it's not even like the gameplay was fine. Just everything else about it was just terrible. I'm like, how could y'all fuck up this bad? Like, who? They just literally did not care at all. And they should be embarrassed. Jill was hot, yeah. She was seeing Jill, next gen Jill was great. And her character was good. I even liked Miguel. Is this Miguel? His new character model or whatever. I thought it was cool. Like, it made sense. Is his name Miguel? It's fucking with me now. I feel like I'm getting that wrong. I don't know. I think it is. I'm gonna go with it. But Carlos. God damn it. Why? Whose name is Miguel? What game? Hold on. What game am I thinking of? Hold on. Miguel. Who? Hold on. I have to look this up now. Oh, he was a USS member, and okay. No, I'm thinking of somebody completely different. His name was Carlos. Oh, you know why I called him Miguel? Because he looks like Miguel from Tekken. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Hold up. All right. Hold the fuck up. I have to redeem myself. That's definitely him. That was the first thing I thought of when I played Resident Evil 3 and they showed me his character model. This was who I was thinking of. He looks just like him. Now that's Miguel. This is Miguel from Tekken. Now I'm gonna do RE3 Carlos. Same fucking dude. Just with military equipment on. That's the same dude. Exact same dude, but got military equipment on. I have redeemed myself. That's why I said Miguel. We're going to leave it at that. And we're going to move on. Homeboy's name is Carlos. By the way, this is Carlos's original model, which is why people were so kind of thrown back by that. They were like, who the fuck is this dude? Because he looks nothing like this guy. This is what he originally looked like. And that evolved into this fellow, this handsome gent. But yeah, that's why I kept calling him Miguel, because he looks like Miguel from Tekken. Yeah, that's him. That is him. All right, well, there you go. I have been redeemed. I feel better now. Moving on.
Barry, have you lost your mind? The removal of the graveyard and the clock tower, adding that shitty resistance game that's irrelevant now. And don't get me started on what they did to Nemesis.
Did him dirty like a dog.
Turned him.
Yeah. I don't think Nemesis was impactful at all in the remake. Like, he was much scarier in the original, in my opinion. I thought he was much more terrifying in the original Resident Evil 3. Actually, he kind of, I don't know. It almost seemed like they were making fun of him in this game. I can't really get into it because I haven't played the game in a while, but I remember them. I remember feeling like they were just kind of like clowning him a bit. I don't know. Carlos' hobbies include trying to get into Jill Valentine's panties and also fighting in the in the world fighting tournament. That's also what he
Him
what
into
he
a
gets
dog,
into.
too. What the shit was that?
Look, the atmosphere was spot on, and even though they kept the dodge mechanic, they at least got rid of that choice system.
Nemi is running around in hefty trash bags with a busted nose.
That's true. His face was busted in that game. Oh my god. And he was like wrapped in fucking Glad bags for some reason. They still didn't explain that shit.
He literally Kool-Aid mans his way into Jill's apartment the moment the game starts, and he never stops to give the player a break. They did the boy filthy, Barry.
At least they gave more attention to Carlos.
Not enough.
Man needs a haircut, looking like a hippie.
D tier.
D.
It had better potential than 6, guys. I'll concede to low C.
Barry, for Christ's sake, they didn't even put mercenaries in it.
Ooh, you know what? That's actually okay. All right. I wouldn't put 3 next to 6. Like if 6 wasn't on the board, I would be happy putting 3 in D tier. But if it's sitting next to 6, I just can't. I can't feel right about that. I can't. I would have to bump it up to C just because it was definitively better than 6.
Checkmate, bitch.
Fuck! All right, fine. D tier, and I hate you both.
We spit the truth. Now let's finish this already.
Okay, the last one is Resident Evil Village.
A tier, final answer.
Bullshit. They took out the zombies once more and replaced them with fucking werewolves and pseudo-vampires made of flies, for Christ's sake.
I liked watching 6. I enjoyed watching people play 6. I didn't enjoy playing it. I said, like he just said, the werewolves and shit. That shit kind of it brought me out of the experience. It didn't really feel like a Resident Evil game to me. And I know that it was, but 8 just did not feel like a Resident Evil game at all. From beginning to end, I never got a Resident Evil vibe from that game. It was fine. Like I didn't hate it. I enjoyed the story and watching it and stuff. I like Ethan, believe it or not. A lot of people shit on Ethan. A lot of people like really hate him as a protagonist, but I actually kind of like Ethan. I think he's, because he's one of the only characters in Resident Evil mythos that's just a dude. Like, he's just a regular dude. Like everybody else, every other main character in Resident Evil is some kind of law enforcement, somebody who's qualified to handle situations like that. Ethan is just a fucking regular ass dude who got put in a fucked up situation, and he acts like he's just a regular ass dude. Because a lot of people are like, oh, he's such a bitch or whatever. I'm like, he wasn't built for this shit. Like Ethan was not ready for what was about to take place in this place. He was just a dude looking for his girlfriend and got caught up in some shit, man. And he was kind of bland, but he's just a regular ass dude. Most dudes are bland. But yeah, I don't know. I think 8 is a great game. I think Village is a good game. And I think it at least deserves an A as a game and the story and stuff, but I didn't actually personally enjoy playing it.
You only have it that high because you wanted to clap Lady D's cheeks. Don't lie.
Obviously, who's going to doubt that?
Joke's on you. She's only in the first 2 hours of the game.
Yeah, oh, they trolled the fuck out of the entirety of the simping community with Lady D, because they made it seem like she was going to be a mainstay in that game, and they got that shit out of the way quick. Like, she was disposed of with ease. Like they was like, you were in and out and she was gone, and that was it. And almost everybody who bought the game specifically for her they were not happy about that. Markiplier was one of those people too who was salivating. That man was losing his mind over Lady D. I mean, she a gigantic bad bitch. I get it, but some people was they y'all was yeah, y'all was tripping over that shit.
Crime, I agree, but let's be real about this. The only scary part was the giant fetus boss, and it was only done because of some hallucinogenic flowers.
That was creepy as fuck. That giant fucking fetus chasing you around, that shit was actually genuinely terrifying.
Before and after that was a complete cakewalk.
So the gameplay is still top tier and exciting. Finding treasures and exchanging goods with the Duke brings back the old feeling of 4 easily.
Ethan literally uses a tank with infinite ammo. Campy as shit.
I think you mean a true American, something you wouldn't know anything about.
It's literally implied that Mia fucks him, having known he was a moldy dead guy the entire time. Disgusting.
Hmm. Let me think about this one. Because I'm pretty sure Mia was heavily influenced by the mold too, right? Like I know Ethan was, like his entire body was basically made up of the shit after a while, but hers was too. Like they had a baby together. Did I play Resi 8 on stream? No, I don't think I did. I downloaded it with the goal to play it on stream. Because I had realized that I'd never played it, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to play that. So I downloaded it, and I booted it up. I made sure that it worked on my computer, and I was just like, I'm gonna just get acquainted with the game, play it for like an hour or so, just to kind of get a feel. And I was like, I'm not enjoying this. And I'm like, and if I'm not enjoying it now, I'm definitely not gonna enjoy it streaming. So I just was like, I'm probably not gonna do that. So yeah, I bought it with the intention to stream it, but that never happened because I just wasn't having a whole lot of fun playing it.
Is that not the same of what your wife does with you, Sleepy Joe, you ancient piece of shit?
Go get showered on again, you bag of Cheeto dust.
It goes down on B tier, Donald, and that's that. You can't keep riding the hype on this one.
Fuck you both in this list. It looks like dog shit anyways. I'm out of here. What a complete waste of my time.
He'll probably want to recount in a couple days.
You want to play some DBD? I need to get more Oryx cells to get a new killer.
Nah, I gotta log off. It's almost noon and I'm getting tired. See ya.
Almost noon, and I'm getting tired. Okay, all right. So let's look at this tier list. We got S tier, the original Resident Evil 2. Absolutely. Resident Evil, the first remake. Abso-fucking-lutely. Resident Evil 2 remake, acceptable. I'll take it. A tier, we got Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 4, and Nemesis. I don't know about Nemesis. I'm not sure Nemesis belongs A tier now that I'm thinking about it. I would have probably put Nemesis B tier. I'd probably put Nemesis B. Resident Evil 0 belongs B. Code Veronica belongs in B. Actually, if I was gonna be generous, I would probably swap Resident Evil 3 with 1, just because all the things that made Resident Evil 1 bad ended up turning out to be a net positive, because a lot of the things, if you look at the list of complaints people have about the OG Resident Evil, most of those things are reasons to play the game. Like the voice acting, a lot of people play it for that because it's so cheesy and it's so bad it's actually good. The old school tank controls and stuff like that, like a lot of people, those are negatives to some, but typically people are attracted to the game for those reasons. But the things that make 3 bad are just bad. So I think I would probably swap the original Resident Evil with 3, and Village could stay at B. Although I think Village probably deserves to be a A, honestly, because it was a pretty good game. But I'm okay. I'm not gonna fight for it to get to A. It can stay in B. Resident Evil 5, I think belongs C. I'm okay with that. And definitely 3. Okay, if this was my list, everything would stay pretty much the same in S. 3 would get swapped with 1 for B and A. Resident Evil 5 would stay there. Resident Evil 3 would stay D, and Resident Evil 6 would have a new category, which would be F. And that would be my list. That would be my list. 6 down to F, and then what I said before. I think that works. They did a pretty good job. And you know what I like about these videos? I know this is silly, it's goofy. You know, obviously this isn't the actual presidents doing this. But what makes these type of videos, because these videos are relatively new, the president deepfakes or whatever. I know deepfakes have been around for a while, but this kind of genre of videos is relatively new. And the reason that I like them so much is because the debates about the games are actual legitimate debates that actual gamers have. Like, it's not just bullshit. They're not just doing it for the lulz. You can tell that whoever wrote these scripts genuinely care about these games, and they and this is like real actual gamer input, you know. So it's not just the hilarity of 3 these freaking idiots. Okay, so we're gonna do one more. They did a Pokemon list, which is another one I was looking at. But they also did a they reviewed and talked about the new Resident Evil 4. Now, I didn't play the original Resident Evil 4. I mean, I didn't play the new Resident Evil 4. I played the demo, but I have watched people play it through like 5 or 6 times because I like to watch speed runs and stuff. So I know the game inside and out at this point. And I had the same problem that I had with 8. Is like, I played 4 already and I beat it, and the experience it's so close to the first one, in my opinion, that it doesn't, like, I can't get hyped up to play it like I would the other games. Also, too, they added and changed some stuff in the 4 remake that I don't like at all. For example, the fact that your knife has durability, I fucking hate it. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna be like, that's a thing that I know. I really hate it. It's fucking stupid. It's dumb, and it builds artificial kind of tension and gives you this fake sense of resource management that doesn't need to be there. It's just a staple in a lot of these new modern RE games where your knife has a durability, so they don't want you to abuse it or whatever. But I'm like, if you were good enough to use the knife, then you should be able to use the fucking knife. And they got butthurt by the fact that the knife, if you knew what you were doing, was one of the strongest weapons in Resident Evil 2 remake. But that's only if you knew how to use it. Like, I've seen plenty of people do knife only runs, but they knew what the fuck they were doing, and they had to actually learn how to deal with every enemy by using the knife. So it wasn't like it was just this OP thing that you can just roll through the game with. So it was just creating artificial difficulty with idiotic concepts is something I would never get behind. I would just never get behind. Yeah, he blocks a chainsaw with one. And that probably would break a fucking knife, like, honestly. And in that context, even though that the whole idea of being able to stop a chainsaw with a knife is unbelievably ludicrous. Like, absolutely fucking ridiculous in every sense of the word. It's just, the fact that they even put that in the game is baffling to me. But that's the only justification I see for the knife breaking. Outside of that, just using the knife. And as a matter of fact, like, when you first start the game, you have a fucking military issued combat knife that they give you, and you can swipe a zombie probably 20 times with it before it completely shatters and is totally worthless. And then you just find more knives and shit throughout the game. And I'm like, this is so stupid. It's so fucking unnecessary. Like I don't know. That alone was almost enough to make me not want to play it by itself. But then there's other stuff that really turned me off about it too. That said, it is a excellent remake. Like from what I've seen, the story and everything, the respect that they gave all the characters or whatever, with one caveat. There's another caveat to how faithful and good this remake was. Ada, iconic red dressed Ada that everybody loves and has been a universally loved character throughout all of Resident Evil, is fucking dog shit in this game. Everybody else did an excellent job. Ashley is good. Leon is good. Krauser is good. All the villains are good. Everybody gave their 100% in the voice acting. Ada is fucking trash. Like, her voice actress, her entire performance, every single second she's on screen, it sounds like somebody put a mic over her head and she's sitting on the couch playing Call of Duty and they're just like, okay, say your line now. And she just like said it. And that was it. Like, she was completely uninterested in everything that was going on in the game. Her voice actor sounds completely bored the entire time. No matter what's happening on screen, she sounds completely uninterested in everything that's going on. And it is so glaringly obvious. Like, it's not even like, well, maybe if you interpret it. No, it's so standout. It's crazy. Because when she first came on screen, it was so jarring hearing everybody else talk and then hearing her talk. You like, what the fuck? It's almost like those, if you ever watch those shitty Netflix movies and you can tell that the recordings were taken in different places. So like, one of the characters recorded their footage because it was like pandemic shit or whatever. So they were at home, and then the other person was in the studio, and then this other person couldn't get to their house or the studio, so they did their recording in a car. and all these people are supposedly in the same room talking, but when they move the camera to the other person, their audio shifts in a completely yeah, it's fucking, that's how jarring it was listening to Ada talk in this new remake. I hate her in this game. It's crazy. I have always loved Ada. Even in 6. Even in Resident Evil 6, Ada was interesting. And awesome and badass. Like she's supposed to be. She's a fucking spy. And she's amazing at it. But like, they somehow managed to make her a shitty character. And that upset me greatly. But that's it. Otherwise, it's a masterpiece. So, that being said, eventually I'll check this out and see what they have to say about that. But let's check out this Pokemon list.